Hello everyone, it's Kari from sunshineinmypocket.com. Today I have a project for you that is very holiday. This video will go live on Christmas, so I thought it would be fun to use this fall bouquet as a holiday bouquet. And I'm also going to use this sweater stencil. I thought I would use that checker stencil, but I ended up not using that one. And so today, to celebrate this beautiful season, I'm going to do a little no-line coloring. And usually when I do my no-line coloring, I find a very light ink that I like to use. Today I'm going to be using the fog ink from Maker Forte, but I also like the ink on 3 no-line watercolor ink, and I also like Gina K amalgam ink in Whisper. There's a couple other light ones that are really great as well. And so just find a light colored ink if you want to try this and stamp out your image. Now you can still see the image here, but as I start coloring it, you're going to see those lines pretty much disappear. And all you're going to see is the color of the markers that I'm using. And so this is a really neat look. It makes your image just look kind of dreamy. I really like it. Today I'm starting with the stems and the leaves, and I'm going to use 3 shades of green. I'm sorry I didn't write these colors down for you. You might be able to see them here. G09, G14, and YG03 are the 3 greens I'm using today. And what I like to do is start with the dark shades. So on those stems below, I started outlining the stems with that darkest shade, and then I blended that out with the lightest shade or the medium shade and then the light shade. But on the leaves, I found that it was so much easier for me to kind of outline it with the lightest shade, then add some of the darkness like I'm doing here with the dark shade, including the veins on the leaves, and then blend that out with the mid-tone and go back in once again with the lightest shade. This just helped me to identify where those lines of the leaves were and also identify how to not color over the flowers and the other things that are there, the stems and those types of things. So this was just much easier for me. So I'm going to do that with all of the leaves just the same way, outlining it with the lightest, then adding the dark colors, blending it out with the mid-tone and then the light color again. For those little decoration, they look like kind of buds or berries even. I decided to go in with some purples, and I'm using some really dark purples. You can see on that first really dark one, I have taken off both of the caps of this marker. And the reason I did that was because this dark purple, which is actually, I think it's a bee dark blue really, but it looks purple. It usually leaves a big splotch on my paper if I don't take off both of the caps to kind of stabilize it. So if you have a problem with your markers leaving a big blob for you or like putting out too much ink, take off both of the marker caps. That really equalizes it. It really helps. For these berries, I'm just outlining a part of them with the dark color and then going in with a lighter shade and just coloring the rest and kind of blending that a little bit. This makes for a really dramatic berry, and I think it looks so beautiful. This is starting to come together. Now let's go ahead and start on the flowers. You can see it's a little easier to see the outline of the flowers now that we've done those leaves and the branches. I wanted to say that on those berry branches, I'm calling them berries. They could be just like little small flowers. But I did take a brown marker and outline where the stems were for those berries. For this first rose, I wanted kind of a light red rose. So I'm using 3 shades of red in R46, R14, and R11 to blend it out. And I start with that darkest color. Now, no line coloring takes me a long time. I have actually sped this up. This is sped up and it's still taking me quite a bit of time. I think this whole bouquet branch took me over an hour to color. And so just so you know, it takes a little bit of patience. But that's why I wanted to share this on Christmas. I think it's all about patience and having that spirit of giving That's why I wanted to share this on Christmas Day. I don't do a lot of no-line coloring videos because of how long it takes. So usually I just think that nobody's going to want to watch that time. So I am skipping forward a little bit in this video, but you get the idea of what I'm doing. Dark, medium, light on every single petal, and I usually do one petal at a time so that I can get the shading right. For the smaller flowers though, I decided it would be easier to outline each of the petals with the dark shade, and I wanted these flowers to be darker red than that rose in the middle, that Christmas rose. So I am just outlining them with the dark red, and I'm going to use the mid-tone R14 to blend that out. I'm not even using the light color. And then once I get that done, I go back in with the dark color, add some more shadows and details, and that's how I get the darker shade of red. So you can see here that I really am taking my time. This is sped up, as I mentioned. I really am taking my time to make sure each of those petals has the right amount of shading and they're all outlined just perfectly. I'll show you again on this little one, but I'm not going to leave all of the coloring in. As I say, we would be here for a really long time if I did that. But you can see that this is a really fun image to color with this no-line coloring technique. Here you go, going in with the mid-tone again and then back in with the dark color. So this is turning out so beautiful. I really do love this bouquet and the arrangement here. You're going to see real quick, I'm going to finish that up off screen, and here is our finished bouquet. I will add a few more details in just a minute, but I wanted to show you how we're going to finish off this card. So I'm taking my large blending brush. It has some blue ink on it already. I'm not re-inking it, so I'm just going around the edges with the blue that's already on my brush. And now I'm going to take that sweater stencil, tape that on, and I'm going to ink on some lighter blue with a blending brush, a smaller brush here. And so I'm just taking this light blue here. This is acid wash ink, and I'm going to go over the sweater stencil. This is going to give some texture and interest to the background, but it's really very subtle and just kind of a nice little texture. So there we have it. I'm also going to outline the entire bouquet with a very light gray. This is C1, but this helps to give it a shadow and help it pop right off that page so that bouquet looks a little more 3D. For the sentiment, I stamped out warm winter wishes, and I outlined it with a blue glitter paper. I took the inside of this panel so that I could use that for the outline matte layer, but I can also use that panel later. And you can see that I cut out just around the frame of this glitter paper, and that's what's going to be my matte. But I wanted to use the inside for a different project, so I'm saving that glitter paper. I like to save my paper that I love and just use what is going to be shown on the card. That's a little quick tip for you. The last thing I'm going to do is go in with a dark brown Prismacolor pencil and darken up some of those shadows. Then I'll add this to our card base, which is 110-pound weight paper, and there's our card for today. It's got a little glitter, some fun no-line coloring. I hope you enjoyed this project today. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. I hope you have also a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. I will be back with more card making inspiration very soon. Until then, happy crafting, happy holidays. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.